Roman Reigns, my family, I acknowledge you as my tribal chief.
Hey, what's going on YouTube land? It's your boy TJ and welcome to my YouTube channel, Wrestling Nostalgia, where I give my reviews on the WWE shows and PLE events. And today we are going to be reviewing SmackDown. Yes, I am excited about this. And this was a very, let me say my opinions for the, for the end, all right? We open up SmackDown with the Bloodline, of course, everybody's favorite tribal chief. So anyways, he comes out and of course he does his whole stick. Oh, Phoenix, Arizona, acknowledge me. They don't acknowledge him, of course. Like, it's some cheers, some boos. It's kind of mixed, but mostly boos. So then he does it like 2 or 3 times or something like that. So he said, Phoenix, I'm gonna do this one more time. I already met my obligations. Like, I already got paid. Like, I ain't gotta be here. I'll leave. And they just like, okay, leave then, bruh. So then he said, you know what? I'm out of here. So he does it again, but he still doesn't get the reaction that he wants. So before he can actually leave, found all demure and said, but no, my tribal chief, you cannot leave. The Rock is coming out, remember? Remember The Rock? We're bringing out The Rock. You're like, all right. You know, it's like, that man was pissed. He act like they told him that he had to stay after school or something for detention. That man was mad. Paul Heyman says, yes, The Rock is coming out. We're bringing out one of the biggest movie stars and WWE superstars ever graced WWE and the BDE of this industry, The Rock, after this commercial break. So after the commercial break, we get back and The Rock comes out. And it was a thunderous ovation. I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone or something because I'm like, didn't y'all just boo him last week? Oh, I'm confused. Okay. He comes out and The Rock says, you sure you want to boo The Rock? We got something we want to tell y'all. So this is when The Rock says, how many of you guys are from Arizona? They cheer or whatever. And then that's when he said, oh, okay, it makes sense because when I looked up, The Rock about to spread some gospel for y'all. He said, when I looked up Arizona, that state has the biggest usage of illegal substances. So I was like, yeah, it makes sense because now y'all have something to shoot up your veins. It's going to be truly electrifying. I'm like, oh, wow. All right. He said, PG era, what? That don't apply to me. Because of The Rock and the Bloodline wrestling is cool again, The Rock addresses Cody Rhodes' challenge and he says no, and he's not going to go one-on-one with you. He said, you know how many people want to go one-on-one with The Rock? These Karens want to go one-on-one with The Rock. These people want to go one-on-one with The Rock. The people that be going in on me online want to go to one-on-one with The Rock. You just don't get no one-on-one with The Rock all willy-nilly. And I was just like, oh, wow, not the Karens, though. I'm done with him. The Rock says, but I will give you a counter offer. He said at WrestleMania at night 1, we are going to have a tag team match. Since you want to have your girlfriend running around, your new best friend, Seth Rollins, you two can go against us two, me and Roman. And if you guys win, at WrestleMania, you will truly get a one-on-one match with Roman Reigns. And the Bloodline is barred from ringside. So he said, when we win, though, it is a Bloodline rules match. So that means anything goes. So it'll be basically a glorified street fight match. And anything can happen. And this is when The Rock, before he closes out, he was like, oh, if you're Smith. And he was about to do his whole stick. Roman, this fool, he puts his hand on The Rock's mic. And he stops him from doing it and says, I need one thing from you. Acknowledge me. And I'm all like, this acknowledge you. Like, you just stopped the great one from doing his whole to acknowledge you? Really, sir? Really? You corny. So The Rock reluctantly acknowledges him, and he says, Roman Reigns, I acknowledge you as my tribal chief. So after he does that, they embrace, they handshake, give each other a hug. They all come together as one. This is when The Rock heard the chants of you sold out, you sold out, you sold out. So then this is when he addresses the fans and he says, let me tell you something. He said, I'm gonna do whatever I can to help my family. So then that's when he said, why don't you go back home and get back to your illegal substances? If you're some ill. Before he could say it, he gives it over to Roman Reigns and he says, what the bloodline is cooking. That's what Roman says. That's when this segment ends. It actually was a pretty great segment. The Rock is one of the best talkers in WWE, bar none. That man is number one in WWE for a reason. Period. Nobody can touch that man on the mic, on or off the stage. That man can go whenever, wherever, whenever. And that's a biggity fact. In this next segment, it is Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, and LA Knight. I guess they're looking at the Elimination Chamber match back. And this is when LA Knight comes in with the chair and he says, hey, if anybody sees AJ Styles, just let him know I'm looking for him and I got a gift for him. And then this is when Austin Theory and Grayson Waller were talking about how Logan Paul swung the brass nut, knocked Randy Orton out. This is when Randy Orton overhears Grayson Waller and Austin Theory chattering about how Logan Paul knocked out Randy Orton with brass nuts. So when they all like, oh yeah, did you see that? Yeah, wham, and all of that other stuff. So they going back and forth. And this is when Randy says, oh yeah, wasn't that cool? And then yeah, Drew McIntyre beat me and everything like that. Oh my goodness, you know what else would be really cool and funny? Yeah, how about one of you go one-on-one in the ring with me, and then we can see how it really is funny when I try to rip you guys' heads off, huh? How's that sound? And I'm all like, oh, y'all done woke something up in Randy now. Y'all better stop playing. So of course, Grayson, as always, throws Austin Theory under the bus and said, yeah, I would take you up on your offer, but Austin Theory already said that he wanted to fight you. So yeah, just go ahead and you gonna fight him. And I'm like, so you just gonna keep throwing this man under the bus? You corny. And he says, hey, signed, still delivered. And then he rolls out. And this next match, oh my goodness, it breaks my heart. But before we get into that, my girl Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton, the newcomer of WWE. She really does her thing. She really does show up and show out. Tiffany Stratton does, and so does Naomi. So they had a pretty cool back and forth match. I remember Naomi kind of did like her little DDT with her legs, like through the rope thing. But Tiffany Stratton wound up rolling out the ring. This is like towards the end of the match, and she slams her head into the ring post. She knocks her out, and she winds up doing her prettiest moonsault ever. 1, 2, 3. She beat my girl Naomi. I'm disappointed. What y'all doing with Naomi? Y'all sat up there and brought her back just for her to lose? What are we doing here? Like, I don't like that. Like, come on. I couldn't pick nobody else? Nobody else. She just came back. Like, even if she's not going to win the world title at WrestleMania, which I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen, the least y'all could have did was not have her freaking lose on a random night on SmackDown. Granted, yes, Tiffany Stratton is new and up and coming, and she's the new star that y'all trying to build up. Hey, that's cool, but at the expense of Naomi? Okay, let me just not spend too much time on this. Moving on to the next. This also broke my heart, too. It is the Kabuki Warriors versus Dakota Kai and Bayley. I really felt bad for Bayley because, granted, yes, I know a lot of people will say Bayley took out Kairi Sane like 4 years ago, so she doesn't really owe her no loyalty. And of course, because Asuka and Kairi have a close-knit bond, she's always going to side with her and defend her honor. Respect. So they had a pretty back-and-forth match. Dakota, of course, doesn't start the match, so that raised the red flag right there. And like I said last week, I wouldn't fully trust Dakota. And lo and behold, look what happens. So as Bayley is trying to tag in Dakota, finally after about, I want to say, 3 to 4 minutes, all of a sudden the fix was in, and Dakota, jumps off the apron, right when she trying to tag her. And then that's when I already knew. I said, oh, yep, the fix is in. So then it's when they all try to jump on her. As much as possible, Bailey was fighting back. And then she even tried to head it for Dakota head. Nope. They all jumped on her, got her back in the ring, beat her up. Io Sky said that this championship is mine. They leave her laying in the ring. And Bailey looked like she just lost her dog. So after the commercial break, we come back and the Kabuki Warriors, Io Sky, and Dakota are walking down the hallway. And then they run into Jade Cargill. I just made a video today talking about the avenue of where she's going to go and everything like that. And now she's on SmackDown again. So I'm just like, so is she going to be on SmackDown? Like, again, I wherever she picked, because it doesn't look like it's going to be Raw. It's going to be between SmackDown and NXT, even though she haven't made any appearances on their programming as of late. It's still a possibility. I mean, it's up in the air. But now that, they're kind of teasing Io and Jade, I don't know. It's looking like, unfortunately, Bailey may not win at WrestleMania. And then they're going to go with a program Io and Jade. Maybe. Kind of feel bad for Bailey a little bit. She did so much hard work. And then for her to just lose, it just... I'm going to just go ahead and move on. I'm not going to talk too much about that. On to the next match. It is Zion Quinn versus Braun Breaker. Oh my goodness. Ain't nothing to talk about. This was a squash match. And I actually like Zion Quinn. It's actually unfortunate to see him in a squash match. Braun Breaker hit one spear, 1, 2, 3. That's it. Let's go ahead and move on. Nothing else to talk about here. Now, this is what I came for. Carlito, because everybody know I love me some Carlito. Big Lito, never the little one. Love him. Versus Santos Escobar. They had a street fight match. And it was actually really, really good. They hit their big moves. They had a really nice back and forth match. Even sent people through tables, all that good stuff. It was a really good match. So, towards the end, Carlito was, doing this thing, about to go ahead and wrap it up, right? All of a sudden, here comes Santos's henchmen, and then they attack him from behind. And then this is when LWO come out and try to even out the playing field. They get beat up. So then, back in the ring, they hit a triple team move, and Carlito still kicked out. I was like, good, yes. So, this is when Rey Mysterio come out, and I'm like, this man on crutches? What's going on here? What's going on? This is when it was a ruse, and he sit us there and beat up Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo with his crutches. So after everything was going on and a whole bunch of back and forth, of course, he wound up beating up on Santos. He get a apple spit in his face. And then he gets hit with a 619 and then a spine buster through the table from Carlito. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Carlito. Definitely the right move. I kind of wanted to see this at WrestleMania, but I believe it's going to be LWO versus Santos's new faction with their female counterparts as well involved in the match. I do want to see that match, and hopefully it will happen at WrestleMania, but my man Carlito won this match, and this is the right decision. Yay, WWE, yeah, all that good stuff. So in the back, Tyler Bates and Pete Dunne are going back and forth with Nick Atlas about having a rematch at WrestleMania for the Tag Team Undisputed Championship belts. They said if it wasn't for that meddling Dominic Mysterio, they would be current Tag Team Champions. And he said, well, that's pretty big, and WrestleMania is like a really big show. I'll let you know at a later date if I can make it happen. LA Knight comes in and he runs into Nick Atlas, and they go back and forth. Basically, LA Knight wants AJ Styles. He told him that Nick Atlas told AJ Styles to stay home tonight. So LA says, no matter if you tell him to stay home or come to the SmackDown event or whatever, I'm coming after him, and ain't nothing you or anybody else can do about it. He says, oh yeah? And he says, yeah. And that ends that segment. And finally, our last match of the night, Randy Orton versus his twin, Austin Theory. Like, y'all can't tell me that, man, as far as their personalities. Definitely Randy Orton from back in 2004. Yo, ain't nowhere in the world you can't tell. Twin, where have you been? Like, that is his twin, bro. Like, I don't care what nobody says. He keeps saying John Cena. I do kind of see similarities, a little bit, but he more so mirrors Randy Orton, like, bar none. I'm telling you, it's Randy Orton for real, for real. So they have a good match. Yeah, it was kind of back and forth, but Randy Orton kind of dominated this match. I remember Randy Orton right out the gate just was swinging on him, beating him up in the corner. Then he was, Austin Theory's trying to run away. So then he tried to, Randy Orton tried to put him through the table, but Grayson Waller did like, no, not my friend, not my friend. So then this is when it left him open to get beat up from the back. And then he wound up putting Randy through the table. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then they commercial break, and then they come back, and Randy Orton try to hit superplex off the top rope. After he slipped off, it looked like he did a neck breaker or something like that. I'm thinking, shouldn't Randy get the worst end of it? He wound up coming back up, and I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know what happened. They switch on the fly, and I was just like, oh, well, I don't think that was supposed to happen. They had a whole bunch of back and forth. And I remember Austin Theory tried to hit rolling drop kick thing that he normally do. Yo, he got hit with that RKO so fast. Out of nowhere. So 1, 2, 3, he wins the match. And of course, Grayson Waller winds up trying to attack him from behind. And this is when KO come up from behind him. He's like, not on my watch. He stunners Austin after he gets back after he was beating up Grayson Waller. Austin gets up. He winds up getting the stunner in return. Then they ended up getting to fisticuff him and Grayson Waller. And then he gets hit with a RKO after escaping stunner and gets hit with the RKO. And that ends the night. This actually was a very eventful SmackDown. I definitely very, very much enjoyed myself. They actually did put on a really fabulous show, in my opinion. But comment down below and let me know how you felt about SmackDown. Was it good? Was it great? Was it bad? Was it horrible? Would you not like it? Or whatever the case may be. Comment down below and let me know. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that other good stuff. And peace. I'm out. Baby,